Yeah. Hmm.
The quick reviews, and the sight singing. Um, let's talk about those just a minute. As we went through, in fact, let me share my screen. Be easier to talk about it that way than the other way. Okay. Oh, move up. There you go. All right. Okay. So let me do my quick thing down here.
Oh my, you have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I do.
A lot.
True that. Oh, I don't need that. Crud. Wait a minute. I need my fiddlesticks. Where is it? I just had it. What did I do with it?
I'm not sure how classes like yours are going to function in two groups as we walk.
Oh, well, we're going to have small group. Hopefully it's only going to be through January, and we'll kind of be back to some kind of normalcy in February.
I didn't realize that was possibly
That's
planned.
that's the plan right now. Now we don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Just everybody needs to take care of themselves and wear their mask, and
At least we'll be more social distance.
yeah, we will. We'll be able to open up. I mean, open up. We'll be able to sit further apart, because we'll have smaller groups.
About half of the school.
All right, here we go. I don't need that. Hokey mokey. What? That is not what I needed. Where is my...
Now, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is going to be no work at all, virtual or school, right?
Who knows? There may be some studying about just who Martin Luther King is, or, watching, because I'm sure there'll be several documentaries and different things on the, TV and stuff. Okay, all of you got logged into the new Google Classroom?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
yep.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me just go here to our work here. It's easier to do it this way. Bam. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. When you're looking at this and you are seeing it, noticed it talked about having questions ahead of time and all. And these are just little short 3-minute. We've already done this. Boom. We'll scratch that.
All right, let's talk about some of the most fundamental parts of music notation. Now, as we zoom in here, you can clearly see that there's several different musical symbols, which we're going to get to in a second. But before we take a look at that, let's look at these different lines here. Now, these lines are pretty important because the lines make up what's called the musical staff. And the staff illustrates how high or how low different pitches are going to sound. And the staff is made up of 5 different lines and 4 spaces in between these lines, which again show us how high or how low these different pitches are going to look and sound in our sheet music. Now, what further helps categorize these different pitches are these different clefs over here. So we have 2 different clefs. We have the treble clef and the bass clef. But let's talk about.
Okay. So as you're looking at these, are these helpful to you?
I mean,
yes.
What I've seen so far just seems to be just basic knowledge that you've taught us.
Right. And it's just kind of, a help in remembering, staying focused on just the basic elements that we do over and over again in all of our music stuff that we do. It doesn't matter if we're singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat, or if we're singing Handel's Messiah, we're using these simple little basic concepts. So repetition and knowing what we've got going on here. All right, so let's go to The second one that I posted yesterday, I think it was. And
How many lines make up one musical staff?
Oh.
How many lines make up
Jackson,
one musical
do you know what it
staff?
is? How many lines? 4, 5, or 6?
5.
Yes, that's correct. The musical staff
Yay!
is made up of 5.
Very good.
What is another name for the bass?
Okay,
Oh.
Alex, you're up.
Another name for the bass.
Here comes your choices are G, F, or treble clef.
F.
Yes, that's correct.
Woohoo!
I knew it couldn't be the G clef or the treble clef. because the treble
Yay.
clef, another name for that is the G clef.
And notice what he did there. You know, I have always taught it that the line between the 2 dots here is the F line. He teaches it by that's where you begin the bass clef in drawing it. You put that little circle on that line there and then make your circle. So either way, you know, everybody has their own way of teaching things.
It's also called duck clef. Very good. Which clef is usually
Okay,
used
Nathan.
for higher pitched voices? and
Easy
instruments?
peasy.
Which clef is usually used for higher pitched voices and instruments?
Let me think.
Treble clef, bass clef, alto clef.
There is no such thing as an alto clef.
Oh,
or
yes,
bass
there
clef.
is. You better hurry.
Treble clef. I didn't realize there was a time limit.
Yes, that is correct. The
Yeah.
treble clef, also known as the G clef, is usually used for higher pitched voices and instruments.
Or the G
Yes.
clef, as it's all.
When we talk about the alto clef, that is dealing with certain instruments. They read the alto clef.
I've never heard of an alto clef, so I didn't.
Well, you know, and that's probably because it's not used in vocal, it's only used in instrumental.
Oh, so that would be like for band.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, well that explains why I've never heard of it. Okay,
There
at
you
least
go.
at least it's not that I'm missing something.
Notation that helps us organize our music is what's called measures. Now, a measure is a space between 2 bar lines. Now, if you're wondering what a bar line is, it's actually this little line right here called a bar line. And again, this helps separate our measures. Now, a mistake that so many young musicians make is they think that a measure is the same thing as a bar line, when that's not the case. Now, these bar lines separate the measures. So a measure is really the space between 2 bar lines. Okay, again, so this is called a bar line here, but the measure is the space between these 2 bar lines. But what if we have multiple measures that we want to read? And what if there's multiple different instruments or different parts that are playing at the same time? What this is basically describing is what's called a musical system. A musical system is a group of several different instruments or voices that are performing at the same time. And this little bracket right here is basically organizing this system. So a system is different than a measure. For example, in this case, measure 15, as we see over here, would be this entire group of measures. But a system is a group of all of these musical instruments, voices, that are performing at the same time. And what's different about this is if you happen to be a soprano following this music, instead of just reading the soprano part and then going on to maybe the alto line, that wouldn't make sense, right?
Right.
What would really happen is you would follow the music all together. So the sopranos are performing with the altos, with the baritones, and with the piano. And it's all performing at the same time. All of these different parts are performing at the same time. And this is an important distinction because so many students make this mistake, especially young musicians. They follow their part, and then they think, okay, let me go down to the next line. But that wouldn't make sense because if you were a soprano, that means then you would be going from the soprano part and jumping to the alto part. That doesn't make sense. Again, because all of these parts are performing at the same time. Now, what's the difference again, just to review? This area here is one measure. This bracket is organizing a musical system. And again, a system is a group of all of these parts. And don't forget, this line right here is called the bar line, right? These are bar lines. The measure is the space between these two bar lines.
Okay, so I think this guy does a really good explanation of sharing, because you know, when you first learned how to read music, especially when you have, and that's what that system right there is also what we call open score, because you've got a different line for each voice part. And a lot of times it's confusing when you see an open score like that with the piano part. You might have an entire page or a half of a page that is only one line of the music. And then you jump down to the bottom part of it. So it's good of explaining that and reinforcing of what a measure consists of when you're looking at sheet music. And, you know, just like in Bring Me a Little Water, Sylvie, that we're going to look at, it's got the different voice parts and it's a cappella. So what does the word a cappella mean?
What does it mean? I'm not sure.
No instruments.
No instruments. We're
Oh,
only
that's okay.
using our voice as an instrument, which is an instrument, but that's the only instrument that we're using. So, all right, so let's go to the next part where we're doing sight reading. Woo-hoo. Now, when you're looking at sight reading, remember that as he is showing, these are called what we call 70-second, because that's all it is, 70 seconds of sight reading. What is the purpose of sight reading, do you think? I know y'all dislike it.
I love it.
Yay, Jacqueline. When you're sight reading, like for instance here, right now we're just doing single line, and we are following one part. And so guys, you would be singing this part an octave lower, or where it is if your voice can sing it there. If you can, boy, you are a true tenor when you get up there to that high C. But you're following, you know, the things that he's showing you and reminding you of what you're looking at is what we need to do on each song that we first get, whether we know the song or not, because we know that when we sing popular songs, the arrangement a lot of times is not like we know it, is it? Sometimes it'll be different. We want to sing it like we've heard it on the radio, but it's not that way. And so therefore we go, oh, I don't like this song. It's not like the one on the radio. Well, just because it's not like the one on the radio doesn't mean that we can't like it, because what they have done is taken that song and made it into a choral arrangement, so that they've added harmonies and they've added things, you know, so that you could perform it as close as possible to the one on the radio or whatever and all, okay? So in these, you're looking at, first of all, you're looking at the time sign to see how many beats you're going to have in the measure and what your note values are going to be. You're looking at your key sign to see what key it's written in. You're looking at, oh, what is my smallest note value? so that you'll know, okay, am I counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 or am I counting it as quarter notes? 1, 2, 3, 4. You're looking at all of this stuff together. Am I stepping up? Am I stepping down? Am I repeating notes? Am I skipping notes? Skipping up, skipping down? Do I see patterns that I can follow? All of this goes into sight reading, no matter if you're an instrumentalist or you're a vocalist. You're looking at all that stuff up there. Now, what is that little triangular thing? This right here. Whoops, sir. This guy. Do you know what that is?
Is that the tempo?
Metronome.
It's a metronome. You know, I talk about metronomes a lot, and we see in the music, a lot of times we'll see a quarter note is equal to 72, or a quarter note is equal to 86, or a half note is equal, a quarter note is equal to 120. You know, at the very beginning of a piece of music, or even it'll change it on through a piece of music. Well, when you see that little metronome, you know, mine is a little square box, looks like. And you can hear that. You hear that little tapping going on, the little clicking.
Keeps you in
That's
rhythm.
keeping your tempo. That's the steady pulse. That's the beat of the song. Not the rhythm, but the beat of it. So these are the kind of metronomes that I used when I was growing up. And you had to make sure you wound it up like an old alarm clock that you wind up, and you'd wind it up as if you was winding up a toy to start to run. And then that little stem right there, that little metal part right here, you would slide it up or down. And the lower you went down here, the faster it went. It was like, you know, and then the higher you went, it was like click, 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 click. And that's how we would practice, you know, in our practice rooms in college. We would practice with everybody you saw them walking around with their metronomes in their hand. They'd have it in the practice room, sitting on the piano, and you'd have them set and then click, 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 click. So that's keeping your steady pulse there. So let's look at the first example. Whoops.
First, I take an example. The first thing we want to take notice of is our key signature. You notice we do not have any sharps or flats. For that reason, that means if we don't see any sharps or flats, C is do. So that means we're going to be starting on do. Let's also take notice of the fact that we have some held out notes.
Oh, how did you do on singing it on solfege? Well, maybe I didn't sing it on solfege. Maybe I just sang it on ta.
Pretty good.
Yes, because I told y'all just to sing it on ta. All right. And here you are singing in octaves, and an octave is what, Jackson? Do you remember what that is?
8 sides.
8 notes, 8 notes. Okay, so
Okay,
from
notes.
C to C.
Yeah.
From this C right here to this C right here is an octave. From this D to this D is an octave. This E to this E is an octave. So you're singing in octaves. So as we look at this piece right off the bat, we see that we've got half notes and quarter notes. Yay! Okay, let's continue on here.
Also, look out for these changes in direction wherever you see them, okay? We're going to have about 70 seconds to review this. You're starting on do. You want to tap the tempo. Silently over this. Starting now.
Now, during that 90 seconds, you are looking at the piece, how it's going up, how it's going down. If you see a pattern somewhere, whether it's rhythmically or pitch-wise, where you're coming back down to that C, where you're going to the octave, or if you're even going to the octave at any time. Okay? you're wanting to clap out that rhythm at the beginning.
If you're doing this, pay attention to those probabilities. Make sure you're thinking about holding out that solfege. Watch for those changes in direction with the solfege.
All right.
Plenty of time to go through it in your mind 2 times.
I got my haircut.
Do what?
I got my haircut.
Do it on a top, okay?
All
Okay.
right. Start on go. 1,
2, 3, 4.
and
Ta, 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 All right, then what does he do next? He speeds it up, doesn't he?
He does? Oh,
He
yep.
speeds it up. Okay? Let's continue on. Now, guys, remember, you're singing it down here. Ta, 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 ta. Okay? Unless you're singing it higher. Okay? Here we go. And
fine. Now we're going to speed up the tempo. We're going to sing it again 2 times through. Here we go. Ready?
here we go.
Right.
Ta, 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 ta.
Excellent job.
All righty. So those little 70-second rehearsals of reading just single note, not worrying about harmonies and all, watching those note heads. The note head is what part, Nathan?
Note head is the little, whatever you
Ooh.
want to call it.
The
thing
what?
That's the bottom part of, or the top part if it's upside down. I'm
Is
trying
the
to figure out
bottom
how to
part or the
describe it.
top part? What are
I
you
can't
trying-
describe it. I don't know how to describe it. It's just.
Oh,
that
yes, you
little
do. What's the note
dot-
head?
The dot thing.
The dot thing. How about the circle part of the note? The
was
circle
trying
part
to
of the
think-
note there.
trying to think of
Where
the-
you
Oh, no.
I don't
Okay?
think of a word to use.
Because that note head has got to be on a line or a space to know what
Otherwise-
note you're singing. Right?
That's what I'm actually gonna play.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, now let's get into Bring Me Little Water, Sylvie. Now on this song, who's Sylvie and why is she carrying water? What do you think?
Mhm.
Who's Sylvie? Oh, that's Sylvie.
I don't know. Mhm.
Why is she carrying water? Why is she carrying water? I mean, good grief. What she need water for?
To drink it.
Well, Oh, really? Okay, we'll look at it here. As you see this, you'll see on here that you've got a guy by the name of Hootie Ledbetter, otherwise known as Lead Belly. Now, who is Lead Belly? Who might you think he is? Read it right there. What does it say? Hootie William Ledbetter, January 1888 through December the 6th, 1949, wrote some of the most beloved American folk songs while he performed and wrote in his own folk blues style. He recorded for the Lomax Collections and became famous for the lefty folk movement of the 1930s and 40s. This song was said to have been written about his uncle and his uncle's wife, Sylvie. And this version takes much of its musical choices from Sweet Honey in the Rocks version. Now, also, you have in here, I added in the body percussion to go with it. Now, I'm going to send you a link that has a rehearsal video for you to be able to practice that body percussion at home, okay? So that when you come and see me face to face, you'll say, got this, Miss B, no problem.
I got
Now, what we just got through talking about, open score. Here's a prime example. You got soprano 1, soprano 2, alto 1, alto 2. Now remember, guys, tenors, you're going to be looking at alto 1, alto 2, basses, that's what you're going to be looking at. Because this song, even though in its beginning it was written all by, for women's voices, they did it for every voice. They've even done it for all men's choruses. So don't think that it is just for women's voices, just because this particular arrangement is, because you'll see that the altos are going pretty low down there. Now then, who can tell me what a pseudonym is? Miss Beasley's in here. She just walked in, so she raised her hand. What's a pseudonym? Nathan?
I've heard the word, but I don't
heard
know
the
what-
word. Well, praise Jesus, you've heard the word. What is a pseudonym? Can you tell me the
Pseudo.
author Samuel Clemens? Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Okay. Can you tell me something about him?
No,
You can't?
no.
Because he uses a pseudonym.
He what?
I could possibly be a pseudonym.
A pseudonym is a person.
What about that person? Duh. For example, what do y'all call me?
Miss B-Walk.
Okay.
Miss B. Walker.
What is my real name?
Becky Walker.
Walker.
All righty. It's Becky Walker or Rebecca Walker. You know, some people go, who is this Walker person teaching choir, when they see it on their schedule? Because they don't know me by anything else except Miss B. Walk. I have had administrators that have, you know, I don't think they've ever called me by my real name, because they basically know me as Miss B. Walk. I've had parents look me up in the phone book wanting to call and talk to me, and they couldn't find B-Walk in the phone book. And I'm like, that's not my real name, you know? So now that's a good hint about Samuel Clemens.
He went by another name.
Think back, yes, he did. What was it?
No idea.
Back in your literature, Think.
Oh boy. Mm-mm.
Do you know a guy by the name of Mark Twain?
Of course I know him.
Nope.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, Mark Twain, but I thought it was another name.
Wait
That's
just
it.
a second. That's him, isn't it?
Yes, that's
I
who
just
Samuel
remembered
Clemens by, was Mark Twain.
I remember there was a question because I got the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire board game, and I was like, I saw a question about that. I was like, what is Mark Twain's real name? And I remember now the answer is Samuel Clemens.
There you go.
It's the light
There you
bulb
go.
moment.
So a pseudonym is a fictitious name, and it's especially used by authors. A lot of times they will write things and they won't use their real name. They'll use a fictitious name as they do that, okay? So Leadbelly that was his name, and they think that he got it when he was in prison. Some say that because they thought his belly was full of lead, or that he was big and rough and tough. It just, you know, all these different things that went by, but he always would talk about his uncle Bob Ledbetter, who had a wife who was named Sylvie. And Sylvie, he would holler at her to bring him some water while he was working in the fields with the old mule. And when he would holler for her, it got to the point to where it kind of sounded like a little song. And so the song was evolved from that, because you see, what are the words to it right there? Bring me a little water, Sylvie. Bring me a little water now. Bring me a little water, Sylvie. Every little once in a while. It's like, come on, bring it. I'm hot, I'm tired, bring it to me. And so when Leadbelly would perform this, like in New York, people up there didn't understand the South. So he'd have to share it with them. So let me show you his first, his, move out of the way. Move. Oh, fiddle faddle. Hang on. Oh, no. Don't want to do that. No. Let me go back to share screen. Bam. Gotta find this little thing I need out of the way. How do I move him out of the way? All you computer gurus.
Two mouses.
Huh?
There's two mouses. There's a black one and a white one.
This little guy I have a top that, okay, move so I can see where my thing is. Oh, that ain't it. Go back. No, don't do that. Quit laughing
It's
at me.
technology again. Technology going after you again.
Let's try it one more time here. I gotta find
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to find my,
Guys,
hang on.
Showing you are sharing your screen. Is that at the top of your screen?
Yeah.
You can also
Okay.
move it to the bottom.
Oh, I can? I can move this?
Yeah, I think there's like a little.
Son of a gun. Why didn't y'all tell me that to begin with? All right.
I just realized that you can probably
All
need
right.
to do.
Here we go. Now, here is Leadbelly singing this here song.
It's off.
Do what?
It's gone. Yeah, it finished.
Yeah, it did finish.
Yeah.
So, what do you think
Short
about it?
song.
Huh?
Short
Don't
song.
even think about freezing up.
It's probably gonna.
Ain't going to.
Freeze.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to.
It never works for me.
It's not going
Never
to.
See?
Going to freeze. Okay, so we will go back to discussing. So when you heard that, totally different from the arrangement I sent you, right? What were the differences in that arrangement, which was what Lead Belly sang, and the one that I sent you the link to with the 4 singing?
It's a different style.
Not a different style.
A little bit
The
faster.
one's a cappella. And
Okay,
One's not.
this one was a little bit upbeat, a little faster. Oh, listen.
Class. The bell's calling class.
How was it?
No. All right. What about instrumentation?
There weren't any.
There
Except for
wasn't
voice.
any in ours.
The one that I sent, for that we're going to be doing, there are no instruments. But the one that you heard just then, what kind of instruments did you hear?
All kinds of country banjo stuff.
Country banjo stuff. Banjo.
I just
Did you hear banjo or was it
I
guitar?
couldn't really tell if
You
it was a
mean
guitar.
banjo.
I couldn't tell. That was my guess. I couldn't tell. Sometimes
You
when
couldn't
you're
tell the
hearing-
difference between the banjo and the guitar. What do you
it's
think,
kinda hard
Alex?
to tell through the Zoom meeting.
I think
Do
it was a
what?
guitar.
I'll just
It
say
was a guitar. It was a guitar. He didn't use the banjo there. He just used the guitar on that. So when we're doing ours, we'll be doing it a cappella, which means our voices will be the lovely instruments that we use. Now, that being said, rhythm-wise, what did I say the difference was between the beat and the rhythm?
The tempo.
Okay, the tempo is what? What is it known as, Jackson?
Like a quiet or some or beat.
Okay, when we are at the beat, good. All right, so that's the beat. Now, with the rhythm, those are all the different patterns that are used to put inside those beats. Okay, so when we heard Lead Belly singing, "Put a little water, Sylvie, bring a little water now." Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da. It was more feeling of a 2, wasn't it? Where the one that we're doing is dealing with in a beat of 4. In a beat of 4. What you got there, Jackson?
Your success soup
Where did you get that? Did you print it off?
from Walmart. Yeah.
How cute.
Success comes in cans, not cans.
You got that right. Okay, now then, so our rhythm that we're going to be doing is a little slower. It's kind of a because what have we added in ours?
Body
Uh,
percussion.
Yeah.
Body
Good for
percussion.
you, Alex.
Body percussion. And that's a form of what? Starts with a C. Come on, Nathan. It's a form of what?
I feel like it's at the tip of my tongue, but I'm not sure what to call it.
Oh, really? What is it that you've been working on with your Lion King thing that you've been doing? That you've added to?
Choreography.
There you go. All right.
You remember
Body
that.
percussion is really a type of choreography too. All right.
It is?
So it is because you're using your body. But you know, they refer to it as body percussion because when you're not using your instruments like we're used to knowing instruments, then it adds a little flavor to it. Okay. Now, let's see here. Okay,
You
he's
gonna
just
pull up your
oh,
thing?
we
Oh.
might be able to do this. Probably not, but we might. Okay, let me cancel out of this because I want to show you. How do I cancel? Where?
Is it gonna work?
Well, I'm trying. Oh, here we go. Oh, nah, it ain't gonna work.
Oh no, is it gonna work?
Okay. Guess who?
Well,
You're muted, Miss B.
Your microphone's off.
Thank you. I'm
yeah,
going
you
to
have a mic is off.
send you the
I
link.
have no idea what just happened.
Okay, I'm going to be sending you the link to watch, and it's going to show an honor choir doing this with Mariah, who is noted for adding this body percussion in. And so you'll watch that, and it has a breakdown of it so that it will help you in learning it and putting it with it when you're singing, because it uses some offbeats. Okay, so when we have offbeats, that means, oh, I'm not on the beat all the time. I'm sometimes doing 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so sometimes I'm going to be stomping on the beat. Sometimes I'm going to be on the off beat. Sometimes I'm going to be clapping on the beat. Sometimes I'm going to be clapping on the off beat. Sometimes I'm going to be hitting my shoulders on the beat, my thighs on the beat, or on the off beat. So you can look at that, and you know, and they do it in the breakdown session. It's kind of like when we're learning our sign language and things, where you start out slow and then you add a little bit faster and a little bit faster. Okay. But the good thing is this song is not a fast song. It's kind of what we call a moderato, a moderate type thing. Okay. All righty. Any questions? Let's see, Jackson, I'll see you Thursday. Alex, I'll see you Thursday, won't I?
Yeah.
I'll see y'all Thursday. And I won't see Nathan until next Tuesday. But Nathan, I'm going to be recording my classes. Okay, so I'll be sending those in so that y'all will be able to watch. So when you're not in class with me on those other days, then in class, those sessions, I'll be recording so you'll see what we do. And some classes we may get ahead, some classes we may not get as far as your class did, whatever. But they'll be good to watch back and to see and to practice with. So it'll be just like having class again.
It's just I won't be able to speak to you.
True. But you can send me an email.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
technology is good.
That's true. That's true. Okie dokie. All right. It's so great to see y'all. And I can't wait to see you in person. Ugh.
Yay.
I just can't wait to see you in person. Ugh. So y'all have a great day, and I will see you Thursday.
See you Thursday.
Either online or in person.
In person.
We'll see you.
Do that. All righty. See y'all.